Hello and welcome back to Darren Doing. I'm Will Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. Ben, you enjoyed the international break? Or...
We are back. We are back,
mate.
baby. It's been really boring, isn't it?
It's been really dull. Although in a way, it's been quite like cathartic. I've actually switched off from football for the last like not obviously not completely, but just trying not to watch it as much as I can. And it's been quite nice, been quite zen. And now I'm ready to like get hurt again.
Yeah, me too.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready now.
I'm ready. I feel like there's been enough time now, and I'm ready. But it was just like, it was such a slog. This one, I felt like, and especially where, obviously, like Tuchel was really exciting, but with like England in the football sense, it was like because we were done so quick. Where we played on Thursday, then played on Sunday. We've now got to wait a week until we can watch Spurs. It's like if England were playing a game on like I don't know last night or Tuesday, it'd be like okay, the turnaround feels a bit quicker. But no, it's been fucking dull to be honest. So dull.
I don't think there's been much like promo for the Premier League being back either. It's almost like it doesn't feel like it's coming up this weekend.
Bear in mind, it's Chelsea Liverpool on Sunday, and then we're the Saturday 12:30 against West Ham. Yeah, so it's like big weekend.
Yeah, West Ham. We're going to get into West Ham, but. To come back, a game to come back on.
Yeah,
I know it's at home. West Ham is you don't want it. You don't want that.
Especially
you want an Ipswich at home or something like that.
Yeah, especially at 12:30.
Yeah, 12:30. Oh my god, yeah, Saturday. Fucking hell. You just know Antonio is going to be running to the corner flag, doing a shitty, cringy little celebration in the corner flag.
Yeah,
and we've just been like fucking thumped.
Yeah, that Antonio dagger like on the counter attack to make it 2-1 is going to. Oh fuck. We're gonna win. We're gonna fucking beat him.
Yeah. Keep listening, guys. Keep listening.
Yeah. Don't go. We're the positive ones as well.
We will. Yeah. I know.
It's not good for a happy clapper gimmick, is it? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and out if we lose. By the way, I'm fucking turning.
He has to go, blood.
He has to go, blood. He has Allegri blood.
Allegri. Massimiliano Allegri.
So I know a lot of people. I know Darren and Doing is a global franchise now. Yeah. 700 followers, subscribers on YouTube.
Massive. Make it 701 or 800 if you like.
Yeah. Nice. Hit that subscribe button.
Trying to get to 1,000 before the end of the year. So fucking sort your asses out.
I know, we're so close. But what? Obviously, we're English.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Super Tommy Tuchel?
He knows exactly what we need. I am a big fan of the appointment, to be honest. I think two things can be true. It is, I understand the frustration around the fact that he's not English, and I think it's a poor reflection and a bad indictment on our ability to produce world-class coaches, which we don't seem to be able to do in the same vein as world-class players. But there aren't the coaches out there, and if I just find the hypocrisy of like, every pundit that comes out after we lose the final to Spain or lose the final to Italy or don't get past France in the quarters, and it's like we can't waste another golden generation. We can't do it again. Well, this team has got to win something, and then you go and appoint the manager with one of the best knockout football track records out of any manager in recent history, masterminded victories against some of the best managers in the game, and then it's not good enough because he's not English. And it's not because he's not English; it's because he's German. Because if it was Pep Guardiola, the reaction would not be the same, and it would be completely different. I think it's frustrating that we can't produce these coaches, of course. And I would prefer the English manager to be English, and that's not for any reason other than the fact that I think that's what I think international football should be. But at the end of the day, we don't do that. We don't produce the best, and we've had foreign managers in the past. And I am a fan of Thomas Tuchel as a coach. I'm a fan of him I quite like his personality as well. I know it's a bit weird, but I think he handles the media really well. I think he's just going to get on with the job. Like you could tell, like straight away yesterday in the press conference, trying to trip him up, being like, "What, are you going to sing the national anthem then?" And he's like, "I'm sorry, I have a German passport, but I have a lot of love for England and all this kind of stuff." Like, just let him fucking get on with it. And the problem I find is that we don't help ourselves as a country because we build up these young coaches and give them this amazing reputation, and then we just knock them down exactly like we do with the players. Like, look, Gerrard and Lampard ruined their own kind of reputations really through not being good enough ultimately. But the media don't help that. They build these people up, then knock them down, and then you expect us to be able to produce amazing coaches. It's just, I don't really. It's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy a little bit, really, with England. So I have no problem in looking elsewhere if you really want to win a tournament and going and getting the best in class, because also the best English manager isn't available in Eddie Howe, in my opinion. I don't see what appointing Graham Potter would have done that was any different to hiring Lee Carsley. And I was pro Lee Carsley. Look, the Greece game was horrendous, but he was trying.
That was fucking that gamble.
But at least I was a fan of the fact that he did gamble, and it's funny how people, they care about the nation, or that they don't care about the Nations League until we lose. It's a tin pot competition, and we lose a game to a team that we shouldn't, and then it's like, fucking not good enough. England are not good enough. This manager's not good enough, and so look, I would probably prefer the English fans to be English if it was possible, because I think it helps build a strong connection with all the fans, and I think it's a good reflection on your ability as a country to produce these world-class coaches. But we don't do that, so go and get someone else to do the job. And I'm a big fan of Tuchel. Big fan of him.
Yeah. I'm in the same category as you are. I like Tuchel. I don't think he's as good as what people talk about him. And I was saying, we were saying this before we started. I was like, if he didn't win the Champions League, he wouldn't be that good of a manager. But that's fucking stupid, because he did win the Champions League, and that's like the hardest competition to win. That you were saying that's like Sir Alex Ferguson being like, well, if you didn't win those 20 Premier Leagues and the Champions League, he wouldn't be that good. I don't think he'd be that. I mean, he won that for Aberdeen.
Yeah, just luck.
He's got himself. He's one of the best, and he's earned that right to be one of the best. And he was on the market, and to be the best, you've got to hire the best. Yeah. And if you haven't produced those managers, then the best manager we could have probably got was Eddie Howe. Is that the best if you go into an international competition when you're up against?
No.
There's even an argument if Pochettino is the USA manager. I know USA haven't got the players we have, but
sorry, Pro B, but you're shit.
Pro B, sorry, mate.
You're shit,
mate.
Sorry, lost to Mexico,
but
mate. You're shit.
Did they? Probably, mate. Fucking Poch fucking lost already.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! It's not looking good for Pochettino at the moment.
No.
But I just think Pochettino, Eddie Howe, is there that much of a difference between those two in a managerial standard? Yeah. I just think you've hired one of the best competition managers, cup competition managers, to win the tournament with the best bunch of players we've had in years.
Yeah.
We're giving ourselves the strongest chance. So I just think, when Jamie Carragher's saying it's embarrassing, all right. We don't have the managers. So what are we going to do? We're not going to hire someone that's not good enough.
To be fair, I think Carragher made a better point than Neville. Did you see that quote where he was basically like, there are so many outstanding English candidates, didn't name one, and then said English coaching is basically in the gutter. It was like, so what is it, mate? Carragher, I think, although I think Carragher probably went a bit over the top, I think Carragher's point about it being embarrassing was more about the ability not to produce coaches. I think that was what it was, like an embarrassing reflection, which I think the word embarrassing is a bit far. But I think the thing with Tuchel is, for me, and I fucking hate Chelsea. We all hate Chelsea. Oh, fucking hate Chelsea.
Fucking hate Chelsea.
But do you remember the reaction when Chelsea let him go? The reaction from their fans and the reaction from the players as well.
Yeah.
They fucking loved him.
Yeah.
And I think that will tell you about the relationship that he's able to forge with players. He obviously got the best out of Kane as well at Bayern in that system. Yeah. And also, people were kind of diminishing the fact that he did, or saying that he did shit at Bayern. He won the league in the first season, albeit I think he only came in for the last 10 games. And then the second season, they came up against an immovable force in Bayer Leverkusen, a freak once in a lifetime thing. And if he was the manager instead of Company this year, they would have won the league easily anyway, I think. So, and in the Champions League, they beat Arsenal at home, drew with them away. Arsenal were this kind of, again, seemingly immovable force at that time. They were a fucking goalkeeper fuck up from Neuer out of beating Real Madrid and going through to the Champions League semi as well. No, final. The final, wasn't it? It would have been the final.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
1-0 up in the Bernabeu, and then was it Hosselu 2 goals in the last 5 minutes?
Yeah.
That was Neuer's fuck up, defending fuck ups. I think the thing is with Tuchel, and probably the last thing we say, should talk about Spurs, but I love Southgate. I did love Southgate. I was unapologetic about the fact that I think I was really proud to have him as the manager. and what he did. But ultimately, as harsh as it is, he didn't get us over the line. And part of the reason for that was his inability to adapt to certain game states and situations in the game. Other managers would outclass him in bigger games. We weren't able to beat the best opponents necessarily all the time. Tuchel's got a great track record in terms of what I just said of with that Chelsea team in the Champions League, beating Madrid, beating Atletico. He beat, what was it, Guardiola 3 times in like a month or whatever it was in that run at Chelsea.
Oh yeah.
And at Bayern, beating Arsenal, like I said, was a whisker away from beating Real Madrid in terms of adapting and getting the best out of certain players and profiling them correctly. It's going to be a bit boring at times because he's a bit more of a pragmatist, but does play exciting counter-attacking football. But
we used to that anyways.
Exactly. And I think he's just a better manager than Southgate. I think he does a lot of similar things to what Southgate did. And I do think if he wins something, he's going to be an honorary Englishman anyway. I will say, I always wanted Tuchel as the Spurs manager. I was massively in favour of that. I wanted him when who was it? Oh, I don't know. Would it have been when? It wouldn't have been when Jose.
It was last year. It was when Mason.
Yeah, and before Tuchel went to Bayern, wasn't it? It was
yeah. There was rumours that he was actually all right with Spurs and that he was probably the candidate. And then all of a sudden, Nagelsmann got sacked, and then you were thinking, oh, Tuchel and Nagelsmann, and then all of a sudden Tuchel's gone to Bayern. So it was that.
Yeah, I wanted Tuchel then. I feel like there's another time where I wanted Tuchel, but I can't remember when that would have been because it would have been somewhere else or at Chelsea. So I can't remember. But
was it after Poch? Maybe after Poch.
Maybe after Poch.
Dortmund, wasn't he?
Dortmund, yeah. Or was it?
He ain't got a good reputation at Wembley though, is he?
Wembley.
We dicked him up with Dortmund. He's lost like every final he's had at Wembley.
On pens though, wasn't it? He lost them both on pens, I'm pretty sure.
Not good enough.
True. And we lost the Euros final on pens.
I know.
So, yeah. Fuck. Get him out.
But I feel like the FA, what they've done with Tuchel, they need to do with referees now. Like we're not opposed to if the best aren't good enough,
that's a great point.
We can produce as a nation, why can't the FA now then go, well, the best refs are elsewhere in other leagues, let's bring them in and make our competition even better. Yeah, just like we've done with the England national team. Why aren't we doing that? If the rules apply there for managers, why can't it be for referees? I don't get that. And I think they're going to trip up there now because the next mistakes we're going to make by like these referees that clearly aren't, they're clearly out of their depth. People are going to be like, can we fucking bring in some actual good refs that are doing it in other leagues and for other nations? Anyway,
that's right, because Howard Webb was on the overlap and he's going to talk about fucking
lovely bit of PR. That
fuck off. These referees don't need to know who these referees are. Like, just fucking back in your box, put your little black or fucking green top on, and put your whisper in your mouth and get on the fucking game, mate. Yeah.
Don't humanize them because when we give them abuse, it makes us feel bad. For fuck's sake, Howard Webb.
Exactly.
Prick.
Exactly. Make them come out and do interviews after the game. Fucking knobhead.
Exactly. And at half time, what the fuck was that decision there? Bruce Sissoko, he didn't even fucking handball it. Cretin.
Yeah. Sorry, mate. Quick question. That handball there. Fuck
Why have you just ruined my life? You fucking prick.
Anyway. Give me the microphone.
The guy doesn't even answer the fucking question.
Yeah. Oi! Talking to you.
Anyway, let's go to Spurs. So, Ange has come out firing in this week during the international break because it did go a bit quiet, and I think we were thinking like, well,
has he got the
kind of good when it goes quiet. Obviously, there's nothing. I actually think even the club couldn't do anything to sort of turn our attitude around after the Brighton game. Like, there's no PR that could sort of restore any positivity there. Like, that was shit. We can dwell on that, But Ange Postecoglou's come out, and this is the quote he said, you know what it's like before international football. The game finishes and everyone goes. The dressing room after the game is not the time to analyse. So I've been sitting on it for 10 days, mate. I'm ready to explode when they get back in the building. Ben, mate, I'm ready to explode in my pants. Let's listen to that, reading that. But I actually think this project's going to explode under Ange, I hope so.
I hope so as well.
In a way, do you think that this defeat was needed in order for us to grow? Like this was the defeat where we think, okay, switch this mentality now, and fucking bollocks them, and we're not going to do this again, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Or do we need to stop saying this every 2 weeks after a defeat?
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've been like, we need this defeat, like we need it, we need this. This is fine, and then we lose again in 2 weeks. We're gonna fucking check.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
This
I
is the
don't
turning
want to be
point.
like negative.
This is the
I
turning
know,
point.
but I feel like we have. I feel like we have been here before, not to that extent because that was fucking awful, but we have been there before. We've been like, okay, this is what we need. We need to then learn from this and develop.
Yeah, Liverpool, wasn't it? Remember Liverpool where he was like,
yeah. But I do think we need that defeat, especially, and with Postecoglou giving a bollock into the dressing room when they come back, and keeping those standards high when they do come back. I do think that's needed, but how many times can this happen now? Anyway, I've asked you about 5 questions in one.
No, you're right. It can't. Both parts of what that question are true. Like there's elements of truth in both of that. It can't keep happening because we've been here many times with Spurs. Not a load with Postecoglou. Not a load because I think that was, he said it after the game, didn't he? He was like, that was the worst defeat that we've had since I've been here. And we've not really, I struggle to think of games where we've thrown it away like that. Obviously, we've thrown away leads under Ange, but quite often last season, it was that we'd go 1-0 down and then come back in the game. We've not really done what, we've kind of switched this season, haven't we? And I don't know whether that's down to necessarily the intensity in which we play in the first half and the pressing and how that drops off, or how that has literally, if you look at the numbers, that has dropped off over the last few games. But we do need to get out of that mindset. But learning from that is also getting out of that mindset. Like needing that defeat to grow and draw a line under it. Look, this can't happen again, and we can't sit here in 2 weeks saying that we need to, do you think we needed that? Of course. But at the same time, sometimes you learn the most from those kind of massive setbacks. And I think that was probably the most deflating moment of the Postecoglou era, I reckon. That we've had defeats, had bad ones last season. I don't think I've been that deflated after a game since he's been here because of the Jekyll and Hyde nature of the performances. And it's like I said, I don't think we've done that yet, really, under him. I don't think we've shown how amazing we can be and then how bad we can be. I don't think we've done that in a game before. Well, we did it against Leicester, but it wasn't the same. Like it wasn't the same. Like we drew the game, we 1-0 up and we drew. We've not thrown away a 2-goal lead and lost 3-2, So we've shown it in smaller examples, but not to that full scale where we fucking chucked it away, So Andrew's comments were interesting, I thought. He that interview, it's funny, isn't it? He did that with, was it Optus?
Yeah, with
the Australian broadcaster. He always seems a bit more comfortable when he's talking to them, doesn't he?
Is it Mark Schwarzer?
Mark Schwarzer, yeah. He's done so many interviews with him now. And it's like, obviously, he's Aussie, so they're trying to get to the Aussie market, but they're often more revealing, I think, than when he speaks to the English media. Because of what he sort of said. Did you also see the other quote where he was talking about the Premier League being arrogant and patronising? I can't remember the full quote. But I think that's why he almost feels a little bit more comfortable to let go in those kind of interviews and kind of show that real side to him. And I'd imagine that when the players did come back, they would have got an absolute fucking bollocking, because like he said, the time to do it isn't after you've lost the game and those players aren't going to be here for 10 days or 2 weeks. That's not the time to do it, because it's going to go out their minds. They need to dwell on that as much as the manager does. But yeah, and we obviously know that he's got a real nasty, not nasty, it's the wrong word, because you've got to be strong as a manager, but he's got this, you don't want to fuck him off attitude to him. He might be this kind of, this approachable, cuddly man, but he's got a side to him where you really don't want to fuck him off. And I think that was probably the biggest those players would have got it after any game. And he even said that, didn't he? He said it was like, I'm ready to explode when they come back. And I think that bodes well for the project in terms of turning it around, but we need to see an instant response on Saturday. And look, you're going to have these bumps in the road. It's inevitable. We all know that. That doesn't make it hurt any less when it happens, Yeah. And that's also the same for the player and the manager, because Ange knows that he's not going to win every game, and he knows that sometimes circumstances out of his control as a manager, these kind of results are going to happen where the team just don't turn up in the second half. And yes, he could have done different things to change it. Of course he could have. But I still maintain I think that was on the players. But we've got to move on from that now and just look ahead to Saturday. And yeah, you're right. We need to stop saying this every time we have a defeat where it's like, nah, this is the one where the turning point. But I do feel like out of any of the defeats that we have had under his reign, because of the severity of what happened, and I think the brutal nature in which he has reacted to it in the press and will react to it behind closed doors to the players, it makes me more confident that some of the other ones that we've had that we can really move forward from it and try and draw a line under it.
Yeah, our press against Brighton in the second half was no way near as intense or relentless, and that sort of made them play through us and then us drop back, and that's the one thing really that makes Ange fucking furious. So I feel like I know what he's going to be shouting to him about, because you never stop. That's his whole motto. But like the words like "I'm ready to explode" when they get back in.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think? Do you think that's like Alex Fergie type
like
hairdryer treatment, or do you think he just gets them all in the meeting room, walks in, drops his pants, masturbates, and walks out? What do you think's more like powerful?
What do you rather as a player? Because I don't like confrontation. I'd probably rather watch him have a wank.
Yeah, but after a while, be like,
"Come on,
fucking hell, Ange, mate!
Oh, it's
been fucking 28 minutes. Mate. I've been drinking. What the fuck?
I don't like it when he makes eye contact."
At the front, Ryan Mason's like, "Ange, what are you doing?"
Yeah, Daniel Levy's
I've got this PowerPoint ready, Ange. What the fuck?
Daniel Levy's like, Ryan, you're not going to Anderlecht, are you, Ryan?
Yeah.
You're definitely not going to Anderlecht, are you?
We've broken Postecoglou. He's ready.
Yeah. Something changed in Lazio that day. He would definitely go fucking mental, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen it before, haven't we? Like
even pre-season, wasn't it?
Pre-season, and also
Chelsea
in Australia. Chelsea.
Oh yeah,
mate,
so many times we have seen it so many times.
Yeah, the clip where he's just like, we're smacking the whiteboard and all that. I reckon a bit of that smacking, getting his fucking launching pens and shit, and just.
Do you want to be fucking soft? Yeah. He was saying something like that, wasn't he? Do you think
fuck's
that's
sake!
Good for the players? Yeah, that was it. Yeah. Fuck's sake! Do you think that's good for the team we have, though? Because we've got such a young team.
I don't care.
Do you think though they need an arm around a shoulder type, or do you think this is I think with performances like Brighton, this is where you fucking
absolutely
lose your shit. They need to know, and that needs to be in their head next time we're holding on to a lead. Think we cannot drop in the slightest. Even dropping 2% of the Premier League, 1%.
The margins are so fine.
So exactly. So,
you can't. No, that has to be the way. I don't care if you've got 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds in the dressing room. You got to fucking. They got to know. Even if you weren't part of it, Marky Moore wasn't part of that, But how else are you going to learn? And they're strong enough, I'm not saying it's the way to go. And the beauty of Postecoglou is that he can be a father figure in the sense that I reckon he must be amazing to play for, and must be amazing at that sort of arm around the shoulder type stuff. And just like, look, no, if there's a problem or whatever, you come and speak to me, or like, we can work on this together. But also, there are some defeats where it's just like, that's just unacceptable. Like that, because also I think the reason that he would flip even more, because people's barriers get tested, don't they? And it's like, if you are a manager who most of the time is, look, made some mistakes in this game, but it's about how we react from it, and kind of this more soft approach with the players, and that builds up the trust, and that builds up that relationship with the manager. That it's like, no, we love this guy because we're on this path together, But that can only go so far. I remember Ange doing an interview funny enough, after we lost to West Ham at home last year, obviously 3 months or whatever into the project. And he did an interview like with the Spurs TV on the pitch after the game, and was like, essentially reading between the lines of like, what he was sort of saying was that the training wheels with the players have got to come off at some point. I've got to stop taking responsibility for these defeats. Like, because very much before that, he was very much like, if we lost a game, and then when we had that run where we got everybody injured and we lost to Villa and we lost to Wolves and that, he was very much like, guard was up on the players, it's on me. But I'm to blame. I'm the one that's putting it out there. We're playing like this. And after that West Ham home game last year, he was just very much like, well, basically said the training wheels have got to come off and they've got to take responsibility at some point. So, you can be that manager that everyone wants to play for, that lets the manager, because I've seen so many of the Spurs players talk about how the fact that he doesn't really come in, he doesn't come in the dressing room. Well, obviously in a game he does, but like at training, it's like their spaces are so separate and it's just, we'll see you on the training field. He's not a manager that's going to sit down and have breakfast with you and be your mate. So he lets the players kind of do what they want and let the leaders in that team manage that space. So that trust that he puts in the players is not being paid back in results like this. So stuff like that, of being this more relaxed manager, he's more likely to flip, because it's just like, you're taking a piss out of me. That performance is a piss take. And it was of everything we've worked towards and everything that we've tried to set up in terms of how we're going to play. You've just taken the piss out of me. So I think he's more likely to. Yeah, I think he'd lose it. I genuinely think he'd lose it after that. I don't blame him.
No, I agree. Yeah, because you got, I mean, and Spurs go in tangents like together when it comes to criticisms about being vulnerable.
Yeah,
I mean, the Spurs DNA, Spursy, what people talk about, the thing that we get taken the piss off out of every single day going to work, etc., is that we're like Spursy. We got like a weak underbelly, and then at the way Ange Postecoglou plays, if that doesn't work, if you're not doing it to the full to your full potential, you do have a weak underbelly as well, because you're vulnerable to and susceptible to getting countered or to conceding goals. So if we don't have each other's back, if the players and the club don't have each other's back, everyone's a mockery, like part of the mockery, isn't
they? Yeah, you've all got to be pulling in the same direction.
Exactly. And this is how we're going to. So I feel like that hairdryer treatment is needed. You can't. Whoever's not performing, whoever drops their standards is letting the team down. So that if it was Ange Postecoglou who failed us against Brighton, which I don't think he did, then he raised his hands up and say, "Look, this is on me." But if it's the players, they've got to take accountability now as well. So getting the hairdryer treatment is fair enough,
absolutely,
and it's deserved, I think. So let him have it. Like I hope he
let him go on absolute smoke. I'd love to see that.
I'd love to see him lob a water bottle, bounce it right off Coutinho Romero's head.
I would. Yeah,
I'm joking.
I reckon Romero wouldn't even react.
I don't know why I went for Romero.
No, I would. If I've had to be any player right now to
I don't even think he'd blink.
Yeah.
Yeah, Romero would just bounce off his head, and he wouldn't even react. He wouldn't even flinch.
Yeah. Who do you think if Ange launched a water bottle at a Spurs player, who do you think would be most likely to react and
try and fight him?
Yeah, or cry.
Probably Mikey Moore.
That's just child abuse. He's like, "Sorry, Mike, I didn't mean to throw that at you, mate."
Yeah, he launched it. It's Mikey Moore. He's like, "Oh, Mikey, I'm so sorry."
"I'm so sorry, mate."
Right, Mason, take him out.
Where was I? All right, it's not fucking good enough. Right.
Who do you think would actually try and fight him?
I reckon Vicario would be like, "Hold me back." I reckon if you launched that in Vicario, he'd be like, "Fucking come on then." Everyone just
Vicario would be like, "Hold me back. No one's fucking holding him back."
Yeah, but guys,
he just doesn't want to. He's all. He'll act like he does when a fucking corner comes in. He'll go hiding.
Well, you see, he let one in directly from a corner.
I know, mate. On your Italian debut, mate. Come on.
Foul?
No. What did you think?
Could have been, but
I just think. I think his frame. I know we're going off on a tangent, but I think his frame doesn't do him any favors. Even if he does get fouled, he's 6'5".
Yeah, you should be able to get someone out of the way.
Slim. But he should be able to just put your arms over their head and just catch the ball. Your arms are fucking massive.
Yeah.
Or long. I don't know. Anyway. Vicario, you're saying. I can see that, but I don't know why. Sorry, I just fucking burped down the mic. I'm so sorry. I don't know why he'd throw it at Vicario. I don't know. Maybe I don't know why he'd throw it at anyone. Yeah.
I'm joking.
I actually really like. Put my hands up now. I love Vicario. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Sorry
about that.
Sorry, Vicara. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Yes.
But yeah, so next thing I want to talk about was Pedro Porro. Yeah. There's been a lot of murmurs in the international break about him being a potential target for Real Madrid for right back in the summer. What do you make of the quotes that came out about that, but from Porro to the links? Because I think a lot of fans were worried about it. We actually got a question from Matt Cipolla. Matt, you got to get in contact with me because you're a massive part of the community, but I don't know how to. Is it Cipolla or Cipolla?
Yeah, just write a little pronunciation in the comments.
Yeah. You're a legend. Well, I'm sorry. I'm scared I'm getting your name wrong. That's all. He says, with the rumours starting to talk about Porro, if forced to only keep one at the end of the year between Romero and Porro, who would you keep? Figure you get top of the range sale for a player who's leaving in this scenario. So like big money.
Yeah.
Romero or Porro, you cashing in on?
That's really hard.
Porro is very, very underrated in our. There was a lot of talk about Porro, and we're going to get into it, but he is so undervalued. I think he's just one of the players. He's in a weird way because he's so flashy. It's weird to say this, but he is a solid 8 out of 10 every week.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Almost to the point where it's like last few games, I haven't really noticed it. He was excellent against Ferencváros because he stood out because he was one of the most like more experienced players and a lot went through him. But in the league so far this season, it's like you haven't really noticed him so much. Which is actually a good thing, I think, in a way.
Yeah.
Obviously, he scored that goal against Leicester. He was excellent in that game. Well, first half certainly, in an attacking sense, so crucial for us. Yeah, I made a TikTok about this exact thing, and I was like, if you had to sell one, and I sort of sat on the fence a little bit because I kind of think it's Romero.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking at Vuskovic and Dragan. Well, I'm not sure about Dragusin, but I don't know. Actually, that's harsh. I feel like it'd be who's easier to replace, and that's a hard question as well.
Fucking hell.
Because do you feel like we need? Someone said this to me the other day, and I kind of think it might be true. And it might be my stepdad actually. He was like, "Do we need to sell a big player and just be like, look, if you're not performing, that's what happens." I know, to be fair, Romero probably wants to go anyway, but like, you know, we will just be like, we'll replace you. Like, you know, we'll just replace you. If you're not performing, you're out of the team, we'll replace you. Maybe. But then again, it doesn't really work with Romero because he's a player that would quite happily probably move on from us. If you've got the opportunity. But I don't know. I think with Porro, the thing is with Porro, he's got such a strong connection with the fans. Teammates must love him as well. He's a bit mental.
Yeah.
But you can rely on him. And we haven't been able to rely on Romero this season, but maybe that's revisionism because Romero is an exceptional defender and an exceptional ball-playing defender. And again, the partnership that he's got with Van der Ven. But part of me thinks that you could find someone else.
There's a broader market for centre-backs.
Fullbacks are hard to like.
Yeah.
Actually, what Ange wants, he's made Porro into that. You know, like there were doubts about whether we could play both fullbacks in the way that Ange wants to play them, and there were certainly doubts about Porro more in this system. I think at the start, but I think I said it. Was it the Brighton game? Maybe that I think he's arguably been the most consistent player of the Ange era. I don't think that's an unfair thing to say. Maybe other than Van der Ven, potentially. But for someone who's like basically played every game, you know, and just been like hasn't had many bad games at all under Ange, and I think the goals
most improved as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Like since Ange, you know, people say
improved, but I always thought that he had that in him.
Yeah, true. That's true. Yeah, but people say that the players haven't got better under Ange. He hasn't improved certain players. He has 100% with Porro. Although maybe he was adjusting in that period under Conte, but and everyone was shit. But we did not have faith in him. In fact, we started against Brentford, fucking playing Emerson right back. Yeah, and Emerson scored, and we were like, good decision. Yeah, Emerson Royale, this system. Yeah, good. And then Porro has come in against Man United, and you're thinking, oh my God.
Yeah.
And then it just we never look back. I don't even think Postecoglou even looked.
He had a really good game in that game, didn't he, against United, the first home game of the season.
Yeah. Hit the ground running.
Amazing. Against Burnley as well. He was just amazing in that game, and it was like, this is the guy. Yeah.
And there's talks about like Trent going to Real Madrid. Anyway, let's talk about this these quotes? Because were you concerned by the quotes coming in?
Not really. I was a bit alarmed, of course, but the way it was reported, they kind of got taken out of context a little bit at first, and then when the full kind of quotes came out, it would made for a little bit more comfortable reading. Basically saying, of course, it's great to be linked with these clubs, and it's flattering and that kind of stuff. And I kind of read it as more about wanting to be really involved in the Spain setup as well, which is great for him because, again, written off at international level before, wasn't getting in the squads. Now he's had 2 brilliant games back-to-back for Spain. It was great.
Yeah.
Last night, I think they played. So he's one of the players that's obviously not back yet, along with Romero. Look, a player with that quality, regardless of whether it took them a long time or not to get to the point where they are now at club level, because obviously, like I said, there were a lot of doubters when he first came in and looked really out of his depth and all these kind of things. And a player who's playing with that level of quality and has that level of technical ability and potential is always going to attract interest from those top clubs. And naturally, Real Madrid are looking for a right back. And there aren't many better right backs in the Premier League than Pedro Porro, other than maybe Trent Alexander-Arnold. But, you know, the Trent situation, it all depends on Trent, I think. Because I wouldn't be surprised if they did go for Porro next summer. There's Jeremy Frimpong as well, who's someone they're apparently looking at. Because there was another
Xabi Alonso goes to Real Madrid in the summer. So I think that's the most likely scenario. Frimpong is already there to carry through his system.
That's a great point. I sort of forgot that he was. Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Yeah, and there was also reports coming out this morning that Spurs are going to try and get him to sign a new contract. Again, you don't really know if that's paper talk, but I'd imagine that if they know that there's interest from Madrid, of course they're going to do that. I think Porro would be more than happy to stay as well. He loves the club, and he loves the manager. Again, he's been one of the most dependable players in this era, certainly, which is, again, shows how far he's kind of come. But they didn't concern me too much. Obviously, first it was quite a bit of a alarm bell, but yeah, no, I'm kind of comfortable with it, to be honest. Players say these sort of things all the time. Like, it's great to be linked with these kind of clubs. And look, he's a Spanish player, and Real Madrid is the pinnacle, isn't it? Really, so.
Yeah, I don't think you could even. I know he seems like he loves Spurs, which is great, and he even said like my focus is on Spurs. Like, I love and he said how much he loves the club before.
Yeah,
but I don't think you can get annoyed at a Spanish player who that is, like you're saying, that's the pinnacle of your career as a Spanish player. Being Real Madrid, being rumored to go to Real Madrid to replace like Dani Carvajal, who's been like Spain's best right back in the last like 20 odd years.
Yeah,
I mean, that is a dream for any player. You can't get mad at him for that. You can't. That is just always the anxiety hanging over every club in the world when Real Madrid come calling, because you even look at Trent Alexander-Arnold, a boyhood Liverpool player, fan and youth product, who's come through the ranks, won everything at Liverpool, and is probably going to go to Real Madrid. What does that say? He's not even Spanish; he's English. But Real Madrid is just that is the ceiling.
Same with Bale, isn't it? So you can't turn down these opportunities. Modric, you can't. No. If Real Madrid come calling, it's hard to turn it down, isn't it?
Yeah. The frustration is just the timing, and when you're trying to build something, and then Real Madrid just think, yeah, let me have that, and then you're thinking, oh fuck, now we got to go replace it, and we can't because he's so hard to replace. So I think that's where the anxiety comes in and the frustration comes in, because we're just like, fuck's sake, when are we ever going to see a finished process?
But also because of all the other things we talked about, he's one of those players where if you were to fast forward 5 years into the future and Spurs had won something, you'd imagine that he'd be one of those players that was very key to it.
Yeah, 100%.
Key to that 100%. Project. So
I put a poll out this morning. Initially, I'd just woken up and I thought, oh, okay, I'm going to talk about it in the runner. I literally, did you see this?
I saw it. Someone commented take 2.
Yeah. I said, which of these players are most likely to leave Spurs first? And I'm kind of thinking like in the summer, like say because there's a lot of worries saying about these players.
Yeah.
But I was fucking half asleep and I put Porro, Romero, Porro. Bit fucking biased.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Porro, Romero's son. Like which of those players are most likely to leave Spurs, in your opinion, and who would you rather? Because I'll tell you what the poll said.
Yeah, go on. Tell me the results.
Son, 29%.
Mm.
Porro, 18%. Romero, 53%.
Yeah. I think Romero is the most likely to leave first, i.e. next summer, potentially.
This fucking summer? This summer coming up?
Potentially.
Fucking hell.
He'll only have, I think, how many more years has he got left on his deal?
He's got 2. Has he got a year and a half on his deal?
They've got to make him sign a new contract. He's got to sign a new contract.
Fucking, you have to. You have to.
Yeah, it does.
Sign the contract, big boy.
Sign the contract.
Sign the contract.
He's going to be 27 next year. Just, like, if you're looking at it from his perspective.
Do you think he's playing himself out of a Real Madrid move?
I did see there was an article that were like, they're not actually looking at him that much anymore.
Yeah.
So, well done. You played yourself.
Yeah. He's fully coins. He was like, lads, I know you get frustrated at me, but if I play any better, Real Madrid can fucking sign me. So
yeah, exactly.
I've got to drop the concentration level. Jamie Vardy free at the back post. I'll let him have it. I'm thinking about my Spurs future here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've got to put me first. Yeah, I think Romero.
I mean,
I think.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I think the easy answer to say who would you want to lose first is Son, isn't it?
Well, I think it's a hard answer because of the sentiment involved in it. But,
yeah, but if you're thinking about the project,
you're thinking about the project. Like, if you think, I just think if you want to go, like, fuck off and leave the Spurs. Like, if you want to leave, just fuck off then, and we'll continue this.
We'll carry on.
We have to be ruthless. Yeah, we can't have players like bad eggs spoiling the dressing room. But if Son's the answer for who you'd rather leave, then that is that's the wrong answer, because there's no progression otherwise. Because if we sell Romero and Porro in this project this summer, I know you can't do anything about Real Madrid. You generally can't do anything if they want a player that they're going to be whispering dirty things in them and their agents' ears, and bonuses, everything, and that is the ceiling you want to reach as a professional football player.
Yeah,
but if we sell them, we're taking 2 steps forward in a project and taking 1 step back. And the frustration is that we don't look like we're doing enough in the transfer windows to convince them otherwise that you are going to achieve great things.
Yeah,
that's the frustration. So I put it out because this has been a thought in my head that is sort of ruminating, and it has been ruminating for the last 2 weeks. Yeah, coming up now, coming back to the Premier League, being back, our players coming back. We need to kick on now, because we've got these threats coming in and infiltrating our morale and the dressing room. And I guarantee players like Romero and Porro will be going, fucking hell, Real Madrid want me. I can actually go. And this is a never-ending cycle that we've constantly fucking experienced as Spurs fans. You get that bit of hope, that little bit of hope fucking gets taken away from you.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. I actually think this summer might be a good time. I'm not saying you have to sell one of them, but I can see someone maybe leaving Spurs in the summer, and I think it's probably a right time for Son to maybe leave in the summer, or to take a step back and be a squad player.
Yeah, I think in an ideal world it's that, isn't it? I don't want Sonny to leave. I don't want
never.
I don't want to sell Son. I really don't.
No.
But I would. Yeah, I think in terms of moving on, he doesn't have to be sold for us to sort of make that step to grow and move on. But if it means taking a bit more of a back seat and going and buying the guy that is going to replace him, because the thing is, you're just kicking that can down the road, aren't you? Because we're not far away from that conversation, are we? We're really not. And we've probably been saying that for about a year, despite the fact that you got 27 goal contributions last year, which is ridiculous numbers, obviously. But I mean, I think it.
Well, we've signed 2 successors, I think, and we've obviously got Mikey Moore, who knows what type of player he's going to grow into, what position he's going to sort of fill in the future. But Yang is going to come in January. We're going to see whereabouts he's at in January, but we can't expect a lot from him because he's coming from South Korea and he's 18 years old and he's built like Brian Hill as a teenager. Like Brian Hill before he hit puberty. That's how Yang's built. So you can't. I actually think he will probably end up going out on loan in the summer, or maybe even January. I don't know. But Odebear isn't ready yet, but tons of potential, tons of talent, really exciting. Mikey Moore, same, tons of potential. It looks like we're keeping Son now because he's Son, and we're going to keep him in that position, left wing, and we're just going to sign a player that's going to be their successor long term and maybe integrate him slowly. But I actually don't think that's the right move, to be honest. I think not sell him because he's such an icon to the club, he's such a Spurs legend. Love him, love having him around the dressing room. And as he reaches this sort of time in his career, I think he wouldn't put up too much of a fuss being that sort of leader in the dressing room,
being the uncle,
but taking a back step, being that uncle.
He's uncle status.
Yeah, Uncle Son. But this is where we need to be ruthless and say, look, Son, we love you, we want you here, but we're bringing fucking this player in now, and he's we've promised him first team football.
Yeah.
So there may be a chance, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. But that's what we need. We need to be brutal in that aspect, and not kick and then not try and sell. We're not that we're going to try and sell it, but try and keep and nail these players down to long contracts, because this is a process and project. That's what we need to do. But I feel like we're so fragile at the moment that one piece being taken out of the puzzle is going to make this whole puzzle capitulate.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I just got really fucking negative.
No, I think you're right. It's a hard one to, talking about Sonny is always a sensitive subject because he's a club legend, and you don't want to, it's hard to picture him not there and not in the team. But these rebuilds are painful, aren't they? Pochettino said it, didn't he? He kind of coined that phrase of just like, it's all well and good having the nice house if you haven't got the furniture, and sometimes players have got to move on for you to be able to get what you really want and get to really where you want to go.
Yeah. Where are you on sorry, I know that's like fucking well intense for a Thursday afternoon, but where are you on Levy at the moment?
I mean, I don't think much has really changed, to be honest. It's hard to change during the season, isn't it? Because it's like I don't know. I think
from the time where obviously the Spurs fans' relationship was getting really tiresome with Levy after when we were going that long without a manager, and then we brought in Postecoglou and things started to look up. But since then, what's your sort of relationship been with him, do you reckon?
I don't know. I don't really know. I think you could make arguments that Postecoglou wasn't backed enough in this transfer window, but I definitely think they've bought into his vision, but maybe didn't spend enough money. Potentially, and we've left ourselves short in some areas. I think he's made bad decisions in terms of pricing out fans from the game and ticket prices, and the removal of season ticket discounts as well. So I think he's rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way with stuff like that, and then hasn't spent as much money as they want. But then also on the flip side, we've gone and spent £65 million on a striker that the manager really wanted. But I think he needs to continue to scale back and let someone else kind of come in and just, like, obviously there's been all these rumours about Amanda Staveley and the investment from Qatar, and I think it's a bit of a win-win for the club and Levy, really, because Levy still is able to kind of, I guess, have control over a lot of things of the business side. But basically, Amanda Staveley is just trying to broker a deal for someone to be able to come in and spend the money that Daniel Levy won't necessarily spend on the team, which I think then Spurs might be looked at a little bit differently, and they might approach different transfer windows differently and go and buy the player that we want, and not really haggle over things because the money is there, because it's not Levy's money to spend, really. But it also doesn't benefit Levy to walk away. He's a multi-millionaire that making a load of money. So it's like,
Well, do you think there will be a significant impact with Amanda Staveley coming in? Because I got a question here from Billy Price, who said, with the talk of Amanda Staveley possibly buying a minority stake in the club, she is known to have more of a public presence, something Levy hasn't prioritised in the past. Do you think Staveley could be the answer to bring much needed harmony between the fans and the board? Do you think it's going to make a big difference, or no? It's a good. I think that's a good question. Do you think how significant do you think this impact is going to be if she carries through with this investment?
I don't know really, because it's a hard one, because look, it's taken Newcastle a long time, but also Newcastle was completely different. That was a full takeover, and they had to kind of balance the books over the course of years. Whereas Spurs are squeaky clean with financial fair play, and there was a lot of money there that Spurs can spend, and having that cash injection from whether it's Qatari investment groups that are using her to broker the deal and invest their money in the club. At the end of the day, also they'll be buying shares. So how much would they? I guess it depends on how well the club does in terms of how much money they can sort of spend of their own money. I don't know. But her being a bit more of a public figure, which she definitely was at Newcastle. I mean, she's going to be a minority owner, so I think there will be limited if this does happen. Which there's been rumours over the last few days that things are getting close. Obviously, she was at the NFL.
Yeah, she was there, wasn't she?
Yeah. How much of a mouthpiece is Daniel Levy going to want her to be? How much public image is Levy going to want to because at the end of the day, it's still his club, isn't it? Still Enix, still she. Well, I mean, she isn't going to own it. She's going to be just a broker in the deal. So, and then obviously get what she gets off the back of that. But she'll obviously be involved with Tottenham, definitely. I don't know, maybe potentially, yeah.
I think it could be refreshing. I think that's the thing that there's, like you're saying, with Ange Postecoglou, okay, we haven't bought the players that can take us to the next level yet, but we have implemented a recruitment strategy that does complement Ange Postecoglou, the way he plays, data led.
Yeah.
We're trying the sort of fashionable way of going about business now. We're trying that. We're trying to adapt. We're trying to keep up. And obviously we do spend money. There's always this misconception that we don't spend money on the level. We do spend money. It's just we've made so many mistakes when we do spend money.
Yeah.
So with Amanda Staveley coming in, I'm actually quite keen to just see how much change there is before judging it.
And I'd rather just sit back and watch it happen rather than be because we don't know, do we?
Yeah, this is interesting. So let's just like sit back and watch without getting hostile or jumping to conclusions with anything. Let's just see how this unveils.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, worst comes worst, we'll just be in the same position we are now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not going to make the thing
worst
worse,
position in the world. Exactly.
Yeah, it's not going to weaken the establishment. So but with Levy, I think I'm just a bit numb. That's all. I don't think Levy. I don't think he's ever going to leave. But it's frustrating. Like I've been left frustrated for now. Right now with the last window, I think that was when we need to kick on. And I was saying, like, this is make or break. January and summer make or break for us in this project with Ange, because there's only so far. Ange can only take us so far. So he needs those game changers that all the other teams we're competing with have. So I think with Levy, I think Spurs and Levy, it's a bit like being in a relationship and your partner keeps fucking cheating on you. But then this time you can't break up this relationship because Levy's in control. But it is, you feel as a fan, you feel like you've been cheated on, and then we've had a go at him. We've had a go at our partner, and we've gone like, you fucking keep cheating on me. Like, I'm not having it. Get out.
Yeah.
Get out. Like, it's like that. Yeah. I'm not talking from experience. And then they go out, they come back, they've got you flowers, and they've booked you an all-inclusive trip to Greece or whatever, which is a big Greek man coming in, Ange Postecoglou. And they're saying all the right things, complimentary. Remember Levy in the fan forum last year saying we got a Tottenham bat. Everyone's like, fucking hell, like, this is like, come on, let's go. And then saying, oh, Maddison just needs to stop turning up in a red car. Like, it was all everything we wanted to hear. Like, it was amazing. And then, but the only thing that we can't, that weakens every single time, is our trust. Because the only thing, we can't break up with Daniel Levy, but our trust can be dismantled, sort of thing. And it gets to a certain level of hope and diminishing hope, doesn't it? So I've become a bit numb. So I think this Amanda Staveley deal is refreshing because now you're thinking, oh, okay, let's see how this sort of progresses and see what comes of this, and then we can sort of sit back and look, because I don't think there's change can happen either way with Levy, and I think what he has done with the club so far is good. It's just making that extra step, and getting us over the line, which is all we want as a fan base. Anyway, sorry, I keep going on like depressing tangents.
One trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Moving on to the transfer window though, because we talked about transfer window. There was a question from Jack Enochout, Jack Doyle on Twitter. He says, with Udogie, Romero, and Vicario all coming under fire in the last week, well, justifiably so for the most part, is the lack of competition that they have in their position to blame for a complacency that seems to exist? All three know they're pretty much undroppable. Do you think that's before?
Who's that? Sorry, Vicario, Udogie, and Romero.
Vicario, Udogie, and Romero. Do you think there's an element of that?
No, not really. Not with Vicario and not with Udogie, I don't know. Maybe Romero, but again, that complacency might come from other areas that we've spoken about, with maybe his eye on a move elsewhere. Also think with Udogie, and not to make excuses for him, I think he had a terrible game against Brighton, but it was quite clear in the games before that he was really building back up to like full intensity after not having a pre-season and having quite a big injury. And he didn't have any games up until the second half of the Bayern game in pre-season, then in Leicester, and was sort of didn't start great and was sort of growing from there. I think it was excellent in that Man United first half before he got taken off. And I think he was really back to where we saw. And then he just had a really bad game. I do think it's a problem that he doesn't have competition, because, and also the fact that we've made a Rod Farren back, not giving Spence enough game time to really prove that he can push Udogie, even though he is the one that's going to come in the league, not Ben Davies. Ben Davies is playing in the European games at left back. Obviously, Gray moved there in the second half. But if Udogie gets injured, and if Udogie can't play on Saturday, Spence is going to play. So it's like we've kind of shot ourselves in the foot there by not signing a proper left back or not giving Spence enough game time to really prove that he can be the one to step up and really be a threat to Udogie, because he is the one, isn't he? But Vicario needs serious competition. Of course he does. But I don't think that's the reason for why. What was the question, sorry, about how much scrutiny he's come under, or what, or the level of performance?
Do you think, well, it's justifiably so, he's saying. I think he's saying it's justifiable why they're getting scrutiny, but do you think it's the lack of competition to black? So he says, is the lack of competition that they have in their position to blame for a complacency that seems to exist?
Yeah, maybe. And look, there isn't. Yeah, maybe potentially, but I don't think Vicario's got that sort of mentality at all. Romero potentially, and Udogie. I think again with Udogie, I think he was building back up to something and just had a shit game. Look, we need serious competition for all of those players, and Romero's arguably got it with Dragusin, but I do think there was a big drop off. But then,
big drop off. Yeah.
Are you then going to go and spend 50, 60 million on a centre-back next summer or in January to get someone that's close to Romero to say, look, if you're not going to play, there's a guy here? But then again, what was the point of buying Dragusin to not... I don't know. It's a hard one. It's a good question.
I think so. I think the age comes into it. Udogie's so young. Vicario is young for a goalkeeper. Again, this is their second year in the Premier League. These are the mistakes they're going to have to learn from. I think if they're still doing this in 6 months, then you're sort of thinking let's up the stakes here for them. But I think where they're so young, that may be an element. They may think, okay, but I don't think they're intentionally going out there and making mistakes or making huge errors. I think. And I don't think Ange is necessarily. I think Ange will get frustrated with certain players, but he will know better than most. This is a young team. We need to just fill them with confidence. If they make a mistake, just keep playing through it, and that's how they're going to learn.
Yeah, exactly.
Romero is more established. He's won more things. He's a winner. He's a World Cup winner. I think he should hold himself in much higher sort of standards when it comes to mistakes. But I mean, we've. That's the thing. How big do you go to bring competition in? We got Dragusin, Vuskovic is going to come through. Maybe we need one more, but it's I don't know. You wouldn't, like you said, you wouldn't spend that big on him. What moves do you think we'll make in January?
Again, it's an interesting one. Potentially a left back, but I do think that in January they will take someone out of that Europa League squad to bring Spence in. Then he will probably be our backup left back in kind of all competitions.
Yeah.
If they look to move on with Richarlison, which I can't see in January, to be honest, I think that's a summer conversation. Unless someone just comes in, maybe then we go for a striker. They won't go and get another winger in January because we've got so many now. But I do
come through, and
Young's coming in. I think a winger definitely needs to be revisited next summer, 100%. Especially, actually, even though Johnson's been incredible, definitely on the right hand side, because if it's so and that's kind of all down to Kulusevski really, because if Kulusevski gets injured, if Johnson gets injured, because we have really limited right wing options, Kulusevski is going to go back to the right, and that completely upsets the balance of what we've just worked towards.
Yeah.
So they need to go. If Johnson gets injured, they need someone like an Mbeumo, like a Semenyo potentially would be great. We got linked to Jamie Barno Gittins the other day, which I'd love that. Again, left, so a bit more stacked. But again, if you're looking at a Son replacement, I don't think that would be a bad option.
Yeah. We'll say Yang goes out on loan. Because I reckon that will happen. You got young players. Odegaard can cover both wings.
Yeah.
Have we got enough? That's where I think Son's there. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to say we're stagnating. Because I don't think we are. Son's incredible. It's just we're in a weird phase now where we got to wait 5 years for these players to really reach their potential.
Yeah.
But for now, Son's there. But in a couple of years, he's probably not going to be there. I don't know. We're in a bit of a predicament, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think we're going to make too many big moves. I think backup goalkeepers are must, and I think
that's
I think Spence. All credit to Spence. He's got a new contract until 2028, massively deserved. And I think we've looked at the left back position. We thought, okay, Spence can fill there. Gray did a really good job in the Europa League. Van der Ven could cover. I think we have got the cover there at fullbacks now. Like we have got the cover, and they're so versatile. And Ange needs versatility. And that's what we've got now. So I think maybe are we just patient and wait for Vuskovic? Maybe, mate, Skriniar's on the market. Should we go back and get type loan for Skriniar for Europa League?
That in 2020 that broke me. That did. I really thought.
I know. A loan, 6 months, Skriniar.
That would be great, wouldn't it? No, that actually wouldn't now. That would have been great. I mean, that would have been great. Yeah,
him and a high line might not work.
That time's gone.
Yeah, 100%. Lastly, then, mate, West Ham. We've got preview the.
I'm talking about it for long enough,
mate. I fucking hate this fixture. Yeah. It's we should beat them every single time we play them, but by some like divine intervention, every
last
single
year
time
was ridiculous.
Oh my god, that was a fucking dagger right to the chest. That was fucking painful.
Yeah.
It was so unlucky as well. We couldn't even do anything about it. It was like deflections. They were like FIFA goals, what they were scoring.
Yeah, it was.
And we were playing so well, and we just got undone. But by complete like misfortune, I feel like. What's your score predictions for this weekend? And how can they hurt us? How can we hurt them? Because the only positive I'm thinking is they're not going to sit back and defend in a low block. Fucking Moisey's gone. We've got 1 point.
Lopetegui is also like Moyes 2.0. I still think they're going to sit in and try and get the counter attack. Yeah, they've got Bowen, they've got Kudus, they've got
good players, haven't they?
They've got a good team.
It's their cup final, isn't it?
Yeah, I just don't. They're quite direct. I don't know. I hate this game so much. I really do hate this game. They've averaged the 5th lowest amount of possession in the Premier League so far this season. So you'd imagine they'll be quite happy to just sit in. They have shown defensive frailties, though. Like that Chelsea game at home, Chelsea cut them apart so easily. But then again, that was at home where they're more expected to come out and lay it on Chelsea a little bit. They're a funny team. They beat Ipswich 4-1 a couple of weeks ago. But before that, they were really kind of failing to impress.
Yeah.
They don't, and they're not going to press us. I think they're going to sit back. I think they're going to sit back and hit us on the break like they always do to us. Like it's going to be follow a similar pattern to the game last year. Follow a similar pattern to every fucking time we played them. I just can't be asked. Like 12:30 kickoff as well. We never turn up for 12:30 kickoffs at home, especially. We just never do. And it's like we're a better side than them. We should beat them. But they've got players that I love Jared Bowen. I would absolutely love Jared Bowen at Spurs. Like, if you're talking about like right wing perfection,
yeah,
I think Tottenham.
Jared Bowen, yeah.
Obviously, I love Brendan Johnson. This is not a, but yeah, I would love Jared Bowen. Obviously, Antonio, Kudus, Bowen, and Paqueta scored in that game. Antonio will probably play because Fulkrug is still injured.
Bit of a flop. No one's talking about it.
Yeah. But maybe they spunked a load of money on players they didn't really actually want that much. I don't know.
Everyone talking about fucking West Ham's transfer window as well.
Yeah, I want to be positive. I really do want to be positive. Because we're a better team, and I think we will win. But I don't think it's going to be the most free flowing, exciting Spurs performance. I'm gonna say 2-1. I think we'll beat them 2-1. But they will still be able to hurt us. Set pieces as well. Just it's gonna. I don't know. I fucking hate it. I hate this game so much.
What would you do if Todibo scored as well?
Oh, that prick. Well, the one we were linked with.
Just pound to Dragusin on the bench.
Yeah, get him out. Do you want to come play? No. I don't know. I'm confident that we can beat them, but I'm never confident about the fixture generally.
The fixture, yeah. I'm the same with you. Yeah, everything inside me just feels like we're going to be disappointed. And sorry, I feel like I've come across really negative this pod, but I'm going to say 2-0 Spurs. We're back in business. Postecoglou absolutely fucking bollocks the players in the dressing room, says, look at this fucking shit team we got to play. You have to beat them, and they're going to be up for it. It's going to be the game of their lives, because it always is, yeah? Antonio, first minute of the game, Romero, bosh, set the tone. We beat them physically and mentally and tactically.
Yeah.
And overwhelm them from every aspect. Get out there. Brendan Johnson, bosh, 1-0. Son, I feel like there's going to be a Son penalty.
Really?
Oh, wait, it's Son Richarlison in the back now, isn't
he? Yeah, Son Richarlison in the back. Odebear next week, apparently, which is good.
Okay, so that's good. Yeah, so Son penalty if he's starting, which he probably will.
Yeah.
2-0.
I like that. Slanky goal. Yeah. I think Johnson will score again.
Yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it's one of those games where Spurs start, despite everything I said about the 12:30 game, because of that bollocking, start well, and then maybe the problems follow after that. But yeah, who knows, man? I think we'll win, but I hate this game so much. I really do hate it a lot.
Yeah, no, me too. It's not a good game to come back, but they did win their last game. But in a way, that's kind of good because this international break's killed all that momentum.
Yeah, and it was against Ipswich have been good. But...
Ipswich, yeah, I know what you mean. 100%. But yeah, I've got to fucking pump myself up. I'm confident. I think where we've been dwelling as a whole fan base these 2 weeks, it's hard to get yourself psyched up thinking, we're gonna fucking smash them. You never know at the moment. You just don't know. But let's think about where we were at halftime at Brighton. Confident. I could see us beating anyone at the moment. Sort of mentality. I think we need to put that second half behind us, learn from it, learn to not switch off, and then carry on doing what we were doing before that halftime break.
Yeah, I agree.
Try and put that back, because then we'll beat. I feel like we can beat anyone on our day, and everything's positive. I want to get to that happy place in my head.
Agree.
Everyone, legends, thanks for listening. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button already, please do, because we're going for that.
The magic number.
Before the new year. But thanks for listening. Get involved. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know your thoughts on the Porro, Son, Romero debate as well. And let's fucking smash the Hammers, mate.
Fucking up the Spurs.
Smash West Ham.
Smash them.
Up the Spurs. Catch you later. Coys.